raised potato chips, 3-ounce bags for $1.99.
So no matter where your holiday travels take you, stop in any Clark's Pump and Shop and get stocked up on holiday candy, and thank you for being a customer.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Welcome back. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. Don't forget about my friends from the Quantrill Auto Group. They are special. And Judy drives the XC60, the Volvo, the hybrid. We love it. It's her favorite car of all time. I tease, and I'm pretty sure it's true. She loves the car more than me. Maybe I'll catch up one of these days. But you get 41 miles before it gets gas. We're saving a bunch of money on the hybrid, but it is the smoothest thing we've ever owned. It's a great car, the Volvo. Don't forget, the Quattro Auto Group has a deal with 0% on the Outback. 0, 0, 0, 0 for 36 months. Want to go to 72? It is 1.9%. Cadillac, Subaru, Volvo, they have it all. They have it all. And don't forget, the Quantrill family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise to get you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks. Mark Stoops was giddy, and he's earned it. God bless, more power to him. Now, it took late in the press conference, before anybody asked about Calzada. My buddy, Doc John Wong, finally asked the question. I can't believe it took that long. He was waiting for someone to do it. I'm going to ask Dick Hoops Weiss to respond in a second, but I want to say this first, Hoops, and then I want to properly introduce you. Nice picture of you today. You got it centered. You got the Zoom. Matter of fact, your Zoom looks better than my Zoom. Boy, that's bad.
This is all for you, Alan. Just for you, baby.
Let me throw this out there because it just happened, if I can. So, look, Calzada did this awful video about the money and is blowing back at a guy named Garrett. And Stoops says, hey, we teach people. He apologized. We move on. In one of the touchdowns that was thrown by Cutler, he went up to Zach and gave the money sign. He says he loves Zach after the game, that Zach has helped him tremendously and has been a great friend. And I can tell you, my sources are telling me that this young man, Garrett, and Garrett, if you say I'm wrong, bring it on. You can call the show, hit the text machine. But I trust my source that he has been badgering. He's been badgering kids. And there are apparently, so I've been told, I can't swear to this, but I've been told that there are other football players that have blocked him. Be that as it may, Zach Calzada shouldn't have done the video. I'm not making an excuse for that. But I also can tell you, let's forget about this Garrett kid, because he's superfluous to me, just totally superfluous. The point is this. All across the country, forget about Kentucky, football players, basketball players, you name it, they're getting destroyed. They're getting death threats. It's disgusting. Some of the people that bet chomp at these players. It's disgusting. NBA players. You had the manager of the San Diego Padres. His whole life, all he wanted to do was manage. It was his second job. He loved doing the job. And because of the death threats, he's 57 years old and he quit. The stuff with death threats is one of the most disgusting things in the history of sports. It's been around for a long time, but the gambling has changed it to the point it's past embarrassing. Really, you have nothing else to do. You lost $5 or whatever the hell you lost, and you want to blame a kid for doing it? Shame on you. You suck. You just suck. That's disgusting. How about look in the mirror? Maybe don't bet. Maybe be smarter betting. Whatever it is, I don't care. But don't pick on a kid. Don't pick on an athlete. Don't pick on a professional. Don't threaten somebody's wife. I'm sick of this crap. And I wish there'd be some way to get back at some of these people. You're on social media. Gee, I lost $5 or I lost $50 or I lost $100. Whatever the hell it is, I don't care. And you're giving death threats or going after players. It's not just Kentucky. It's everywhere. All over the world. And I don't know how you police it. But some of these people need to look in the damn mirror and say, really? Really? You lost some money and now you want somebody to die? You suck. You just suck. You're a lowlife. You're a bad human being. You are. You're a bad damn human being. Shame on you. I'm sick of this crap. So sick of it's ridiculous. Maybe don't bet. Or maybe do what I do. When I go to Keeneland, I have $20. If I lose $20, I stop. Whether it's the first race or the eighth race, have a little freaking discipline. And if I can't pick a horse race, guess whose fault it is? Mine. Quit picking on athletes. Male, female, I don't care. The WNBA was taking crap now, too. You want to know why? Because they're getting bigger. They're more powerful. They're relevant. When they weren't relevant, it wouldn't have been as big. Now it is. Now it's disgusting. Some of the protection that these young women have to have because of bettors and for other reasons, too, but I'm not going there on this rant. It just sucks. It's just awful. Just absolutely unequivocally awful. I am sweating. I'm so ticked off. And now, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, a man who I love like an older brother, a man who's been a dear friend. This hurts, but it's the truth, Oops. A man who knows more sports, basketball and football than I do. One of the very few, by the way, but it's true. A man whose memory, he ain't never getting Alzheimer's disease. He can remind me of scores from 1975. Drives me out of my mind. We talk all the time. I love this man like an older brother. You in 8 Hall of Fames? Do I have it right? I always get it wrong.
Probably.
in every hall, I am sweating. I'm so sick of this crap of people attacking other people because you lost a bet. Oh, hey, you should die because I lost a bet. Bleep you. Bleep you. You suck.
Tell us how you really feel, Alan.
You know, that's the loudest I've done since I've started the show.
I like that. I like that.
I did not plan this, but you know me, so no, it's true. Jimmy knows it. I'm literally sweating.
Hey, listen, you're passionate. You're entitled.
It's disgusting.
It's not going to change. Social media has opened a Pandora's box.
Yes, it's not changing.
And it's created unnecessary problems. And the fact the NCAA allows betting at the college and pro level is really disgusting.
You know, if they didn't, and believe me, I don't like the NCAA. That's as long as I've known them to spell NC2A. They were going to do it anyway. And
probably, but I'm telling you, these prop bets are going to be the end of integrity in college sports, because now you don't have to throw a game. You just have to manipulate statistics.
Right. Or say, hey, I'm taking myself out in the second quarter of an NBA game. And
we're already seeing now with pitchers. I mean, 2 guys from The Guardian were just arrested for manipulating pitches.
It's past disgusting. It's just. Whew. Anyway, Hoops, how are you, my friend?
I've been excited for 3 days now. This is the most excited I've been about a Kentucky game, a Kentucky-Louisville game in 10 years. I think this is going to be a great game tomorrow. I think this will be maybe not a season-defining game, but it'll be one of the most interesting games we've watched all year.
The rivalry is back.
Definitely.
And I don't have a fear about this. It's sports. But I wonder what speaking of betting, I wonder what the over and under would be.
You're bad. You are so bad.
But wait,
after all this.
No.
I'm going to tell you something.
Okay. Hoops,
Kentucky is 1 on Ken Palm. Louisville is favored slightly in the game. I think the line is 3. ESPN stunningly gives Kentucky only a 23% chance of winning this game at Yum Center. That seems really low to me. I mean, I think this is going to be competitive all the way through. Kentucky's dominated this series, Alan, 40-17. Last year, Lamont Butler had a dream game, 33 points, 10 for 10 from the field. Pat Kelsey has decided to neutralize that by going out and signing 2 of the best shooters in the country, Ryan Conwell and let's see who.
As you're looking up the other name you want.
No, Isaac McNeely, the kid from Virginia. I'm sorry.
No, you know what? You told me McNeely's name yesterday, and I went blank too. Conwell is shooting 41% for threes. Chandler, playing the same position, is shooting 53% from threes.
Well, Conwell's a guard.
Yeah, I know, but Chandler's a forward and he's also a guard. I'm
I,
sorry, Hoops. I go interchangeable parts. Chandler, you can call him don't call him a 1, but you can call him a 2 or 3.
well, he can play all 5 positions.
Chandler?
Yeah.
He leaps high enough to play center.
I'm telling you, no, he's having a great season. I'm telling you, he will be the most improved player on the team because he's finally getting a chance to get games under his belt. I mean, when you go on a mission, sometimes it takes you a while to get your game back. I mean, but he certainly has been a revelation for Kentucky, and he's been nothing but a positive when he's on the floor.
And he's only going to get better and better and better and better and better. By the way, in all kidding around, I have nothing against gambling, but you got to be responsible. So, and I know it sounds hypocritical some as I was yelling and screaming. So you bet $10 in a game, you bet $10 in a game. Don't bet what you can't lose, or say, hey, I took it on the chin. But I'm serious now, and I don't look this stuff up. Do you think there's an over and under as to if there will be a technical and how many tomorrow night? Because
I think you can bet on anything, Alan. And I would expect this thing to get heated quickly, don't you think?
Yes. Matter of fact, if I was a betting man, and I have no problem with what I'm saying, I would bet there would be at least 2 technicals tomorrow, and if not 4.
Wow.
I'm just as a betting man. I think these guys are going to chirp, and I think it's going to get physical. Plus, I also think the refs aren't stupid, that they are going to be very cognizant of physicality and might call a tee a little quicker than they normally would, let's say, if Kentucky was playing Valpo or if Louisville was playing Jackson State.
Well, I'll be interested in 2 things. I'll be interested in seeing how Kentucky reacts toward physical play, given what happened in the Georgetown game. And I'll be interested how Louisville reacts, being a team that is just starting to reassert themselves after wandering in the desert under Kenny Payne.
That's a really good way of putting it, looking for the Red Sea. I think the best thing that happened to Kentucky this year was Georgetown, because they got the crap beat out of them, and they have responded so far. But Louisville's a different level, as we all know, as Kentucky's a different level for Louisville.
Well, look, I mean, with all due respect to Mark, Valpo is not Gonzaga. Okay. That was the comparison prior to. No, that Kentucky eased its way to 107. And the one thing I love about what Kentucky's doing this year, he's playing 10 guys double-figure minutes. And the one comparison I would make to 96, he probably has 7 or 8 guys who could lead the team in scoring in any one game. He has that type of firepower. I'm so happy for the kids from Kentucky, Johnson and Marino. I think that they are going to be sensational players for Kentucky. And I love it whenever a Kentucky kid who chooses to play for the blue suits up and gets in the game, because it means so much more to them.
And these freshmen are so mature, it's crazy. Let me throw one word at you that Pope threw the other night in the post-game press conference, and it kind of made me go wow a little bit. So as he's dishing the minutes out, that, guys are playing usually between 16 and 22 minutes, not 100%, but just about for all the guys that get a lot of action. He used the word fatigue. He said there was too much fatigue on the court. That leads me to believe, my example that I have used is that everybody is copying the Indiana Pacers. And I
agree with that, by the way. I think you're going to see more and more teams playing 10 as opposed to 8 in rotation.
I actually think that hurt Pitino the other night. What a great game between Pitino and Bama. And I thought, this is sacrilegious to say about Rick Pitino, but it's just what I saw. No filter is no filter. They got tired at the end. And
they were. It was 82-81. They ended up losing 100-88.
Well, they were down 10, 80. They were down by 10, and they made a run. And it's like after they made the run, they lost their gas, but they ran out of steam. I thought Alabama, besides being much better shooters, I thought Alabama was in much better shape.
Well, I mean, they got great effort from Filson and Holloway. Those 2 guys were terrific. And the one thing about the, Rick's teams is, I'm used to them making double-digit threes in the game. They had 6 on Saturday. And it was worse when they had the exhibition game against Michigan, which, by the way, might well be the number 1 team in the country.
Hoops, give me 1 second. It's breaking news, and we'll go right back to basketball. Cutter Boley, SEC Freshman of the Week, second week in a row. He was, I think, last week. And Darren Rayner, who got a great game as a linebacker, is the SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week. But the fragile thing, let's go back to that. By the way, the Giants just fired their coach. This is also breaking news. Mike Kafka will be the head coach, which is a sign that maybe if the Giants play better, he might get the job, because what do you want to do with the quarterback, and do you want to have another offensive coordinator next year? But this has been coming on for quite some time. Anyway, back to the word fatigue. That tells me that Pope is going to play this system. Not only that, but this sounds nuts, and I never thought it to this moment. He might end up, when everybody is healthy, playing 12 guys. And one more thing, I know it's a lot. Let me throw one more thing at you. I think I haven't looked it up the other night. I thought it was 11 for 28 at threes. And Pope said he's still not happy they can't top the number 30 number. And I think they're still not playing as fast as he wants. And I think what you're going to see is they're going to start playing even faster.
Well, I think that they're at their best when they play up tempo. They don't react well in a half-court rock fight. And it's obvious we're going to be seeing a different Kentucky team if Quintons can come back and be a factor in February. I think he's the type of player they need on this team. Although I'll say this, when you look at Garrison, you look at Moreno, I mean, you have some bigs who can do some damage now. I mean, I think Moreno will be a revelation before it's over.
I think
his numbers were really good on Saturday. Look, I know it's Valpo, but I still like his numbers. And I'm one of those people who think Jasper Johnson could lead this team in scoring on multiple occasions before the season's over.
He's probably the least shy person putting up a shot.
I know, but boy, I'll tell you, didn't he have 5 assists?
I thought it was 4. I'll look it up in a second. I want to switch with you for a second.
Sure.
And we're going to stay in basketball. Hey, Jimmy, I can't see you. Are you in the room?
Yes.
Okay. Give me a thumbs up when you have the Shepherd cut and the soundbite.
I love Reed Shepherd.
And you're going to hear Kevin Durant comment about Shepherd. I'm going to say the numbers, and Hoops, I want you to respond. Here it is.
Shepherd gets AJ and then lines up for the three-pointer in the corner. Shepherd gets the blocks. Shepherd knocks it away. Here's see Shepherd now.
It was huge, man. He was huge. He was the reason why we won this game. That back tap, I think, to get the steal and then hit that 3 in the corner, I think that's what got us going. And, put a little bit of fear in their heart as well, because they had some momentum, and I think that changed the momentum for us. So Reed is going to be that spark plug we need, and tonight was one of those nights.
Now, here's these numbers, Hoops. Reed tied George for the highest three-point average in NBA history from somebody 21 or younger to start a season. You have to have a minimum of 5 threes per game. And he's shooting 48% from threes. In this game yesterday, he had 16 points, 6 of 10 from the field, 4 of 6 from downtown, 4 steals, and 1 block. And when you read social media going, how could a guy whose defense is so bad steal the ball so much? Here's the other thing about Reed. He is buffed. He's got pipes. He looks like a strong safety or a tight end in the NFL. The difference in his arms between today and when he was here, it's unbelievable. And
I didn't recognize him with the mustache, Alan. I did not recognize him with the mustache.
He probably needs a mustache to so he doesn't get carded going.
Well, so he says he doesn't look like a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah, he does.
He does, but I'll tell you what. Come on, you got to love the way he plays. You got to love him as a kid. The kid's a superstar kid.
It was really cool. There was a shot I saw. He hit a shot, and Houston took a timeout, and there's Durant going over to him, and Durant is putting his arm around Reed. Oh, my gosh.
You know what? That's great. Well, he's old enough to be his father.
He's almost as old as Jeff.
Yeah.
But the fact that you have somebody of Durant's stature, one of the greatest of all time, who is a really smart guy and understands how Reed can be the spark plug and make the difference as he wants to win another championship, and taking him under his wings. One is brilliant by Durant. Two, Durant is really smart, and he sees that Reed is such a beautiful kid and a hell of a talent.
Well, you'll never have to worry about Reed Shepherd's character. He gives you everything he has every time he's on the floor. He's a total professional. And you know what? He last year, he could have probably gotten more time, but he had to bide his time. He never got upset, never bitched at a coach. He just loves to play, and he does things the right way. I think a lot of it has to do with his family. But he's the type of kid, it's hard not to root for a kid like that.
He is one of the better young people in the NBA today.
Yes, he is.
At taking the ball and dribbling and faking out his defender and creating space. I mean, he's not Curry. Let's not get silly here. But I'm going to be crazy with what I'm about to say. I don't think Curry was that good. Curry just has improved every year. Curry was spectacular when he walked in, but then got better because he's a ferocious worker, one of the greatest workers in the history of NBA. Shepherd's ability to create space when there is no space from his dribble and shoulder shakes are absolutely spectacular.
Yep. Now, I mean, is he good enough defensively to be a factor? I know he turns you over, okay? But George McGinnis turned you over too, and that was a bad defensive player. I mean, if he's a good enough defensive player, I mean, he will be a huge, huge addition to this team because he's a game changer.
Well, it was the first or second game. He had a really bad first game of the season. Then it was the second or third, and every time it was against OKC. And the Kentucky guys were doing it. It's not personal. It's in the NBA. You do what you got to do. Every time Reed was on Wallace, boom, took the ball to the basket. If Reed got switched to SGA, boom, and took the ball to the basket. I think he's doing a better job. Do I think he's a good defensive player yet? Do I think he'll end up being more than serviceable? I do, by the way.
I think, look, I root for the kid. He was one of my favorite players in college basketball when he played, just because of who he was and the way that he performed. I mean, I love look, I have a soft spot for Kentucky kids. I always have, especially if they play for Kentucky, and he is a classic example. So whatever good happens to him in this league, I'll be happy.
And tell everybody, because we got to go, but tell everybody your love of Kentucky, because you spent a year here, took a sabbatical,
I loved it.
Basically with the New York Daily News, the great columnist you were, and you wrote a book on Pitino, and you had perfect access. And what year was that? And you have lifelong friends because of it.
I do, in 92. And, I still remember Bill Keightley and I having this conversation with Rick Pitino. And we said, who do you think the biggest rivalry for Kentucky is? And Rick had just gotten here, said Indiana. We quickly corrected him. There's only one team you have to beat.
Right. He took a national perspective.
Well, you know what? No one realizes what this means in the Commonwealth. That's why I'm so excited.
I decided not to ask for a press pass to go because I don't want to get back 1:30 in the morning.
That's all right. You know what? You probably, as long as you can watch it, you'll be fine.
I'll watch it somewhere, whether I change systems or go to a bar.
You got a day to make the change.
Yeah, I think I'm getting rid of YouTube and going to Hulu. It's just because I don't look. Nothing.
You can't afford to miss Kentucky. Kentucky basketball is going to be like must-see TV.
Oh yeah, no, I won't miss it. Now their BS is they're in serious negotiations, and you never know what's true and not true with these kinds of things. But the other day they were so far apart.
They were.
And look, Disney wins if people sign up for Hulu. And I think that's what this is about more than anything else. Okay, last comment about Kentucky or basketball or college football or anything in the world that floats your boat that you're really strong about is
the ability of Kentucky to deal with Mikel Brown Jr. tomorrow night. I think that will go a long way to determine. It's funny, when Louisville played against Pittsburgh last year, they had enormous success against Lowe. It'll be interesting to see if that continues.
now. Let me go one more. People need to understand the first time you saw Mikel Brown, and you told me on the phone that he was a stud right away. And what year was that?
Junior year, summer, I saw him. I said, this kid's a top 5 player. He hasn't done anything to change my mind.
3 years ago. Yep. We were talking on the phone. We talk all the time on the phone. He's going, this Brown kid, he's unbelievable. He's going to be a lot. And folks, you got to understand, Hoops doesn't throw that around very often. First of all, he's as good as any. I'm not kidding you. Any coach evaluating talent, because you were around enough coaches who taught you how to do it, and you've now done it all on your own. And 2, he doesn't say those kinds of things. So when he says something about a junior being like that, I always go, whoa. And then I remember it, because then he's going to say he was right, and he was right.
Oh no! Listen, I can't wait to see all the young kids play. I can't wait to see Frew play and Brown and Malachi and Jasper Johnson. I mean, it's going to be so much fun tomorrow night.
Yes, it will. Tell everybody how to follow you on Twitter.
Just get me at hoopswaste.com. That'll be enough.
Bless you, brother.
It's good to talk to you, Alan.
Hey, you're the best. You are the best.
We'll talk.
Thanks, pal. Dick
Right.
Hoops Weiss. Jimmy, there's nobody better. There is nobody better. By the way, Joe Burrow is back at practice on a limited basis.
Very interesting.
Interesting. That's just came across. Very, very interesting. Yeah, he was telling me about Brown 3 years ago. And you want to know the truth? I said, who's that? Because he has been to junior world tournaments and stuff like that in different parts of the world. I mean, literally, he's been doing this for 8,000 years, and his connections are absolutely unequivocally the best. How about that? Before we go to break, this Reed Shepherd stuff. Jimmy, you saw the picture of him. Does he look like he's built like a really good tight? His arms are look more cut than George Kittle, and I'm using Kittle's name because he's a great tight end, and maybe because he's not 23 anymore. But his arms, he is so chiseled, it's ridiculous, don't you think?
Yeah, whatever work he put in the offseason, it's paying off now. And the mustache adds a little bit extra to it, I think.
So he looks like he's 18 instead of 14.
Yeah.
If Jeff is listening, he'll probably laugh. But you know what? It's jealousy, because how many people, as they get older, wish they look younger. So, and by the way, I can't imagine him walking into bars anyway, but it might stop him from getting carded, don't you think?
Maybe a little.
Do you think I was too strong when I went crazy on the people that attack athletes, male and female, with this gambling stuff?
No, it's gotten way too far with everyone sliding in DMs and all that. It's just ridiculous. Be an adult.
I wonder if one of the reasons why Stoops didn't do more to Calzada, and he said, look, kid made a mistake. He's apologized. We're moving on. And Stoops has been very good about that. I also wonder, and I don't know this, but I wonder if one of the reasons is if this kid has harassed so many football players, he still said, Calzada, you're wrong.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, everybody has a breaking point. You have a breaking point. I know I do. I mean, I'm not going to sound like a hypocrite. And I've been doing this for like 50 years, literally. And I'm much better at it today. But there was a time I wasn't. I chirped back at somebody on Facebook who was telling me what I should do in caps. Now, in sports, how much you think I like that?
Probably not a lot.
I basically said, well, first of all, he said, how dare I compare Stoops to Bear Bryant? Because the line is they both have won 5 games against Florida. Other coaches haven't won 5 games against Florida. And so guys lecture me, go, oh, Bear Bryant coached for years. Duh, I know more about Bear Bryant than the guy who complained to me. Now, these guys are gone, but I talked to a lot of former Bear Bryant players when they used to come back for these reunions and stuff. Plus, the late, great Russell Rice, who, in my opinion, he was the greatest historian of Kentucky sports back then, taught me so much about Bear Bryant and told me so many stories and stuff like that. So, no, I know more about Bear Bryant than somebody's chomping on me. Stop it. Stop it. It's just a number. You don't like the number? That's fine. You don't like that I threw it out there? That's fine. But telling me in caps that I should never do it again? No. I know more sports than you do, and you can disagree with me. I'm good if you disagree with me. But telling me what I should do in sports? No. Jimmy, is there anybody in management and LM Communications that tells me what to do in sports?
Not that I'm aware of. I would love to know, though, if they did.
It's not. And you know what? And I appreciate and respect the fact that Lynn Martin has kept his word. I've never had a word from anybody in management or the station about what I should and shouldn't do on the show. And I'd be a fool not to appreciate it tremendously. So somebody on Facebook I don't know is going to tell me what I should and shouldn't do in sports? That's laughable. It really is if you think about it. And he might be a lovely guy. Might be a lovely guy. I have no idea, and I don't want to find out. How does that sound? And I can tell you, if you need some help with electrical systems, place to find out and find help is Elliott Services. Check them out, 859-255-5788. 859-255-5788. Elliott Services. My friend now, Chuck Ely. A number of years ago, I've told this story. We needed help. I have no idea who he was. I always ask a friend for recommendation. They recommended Chuck tremendously. He took care of us. Again, I can't remember. I need to ask my wife 4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was. We ended up talking and stuff like that. We became friends. Well, we needed help in our garage because what was put together when we bought this place was awful. As a matter of fact, I was glad we didn't have a fire. Seriously. A wall plug turned black. You don't do that again. And so I called Chuck. He sent a crew down from Elliott Services, and they took care of us. Young people, clean, honest, polite, terrific. And Elliott Services is 100% employee-owned. I think that's really smart. Licensed, background check, non-commission based technicians. They're good. They're good for you, and it's the success of the company. Tons of stuff to do. Residential heating and air, the installation service, whatever, and everything I'm talking about. Home generators. Home electrical handyman services, EV charger and installation. That thing is growing. We need it. It's growing for obvious reasons. Heating and air preventative maintenance programs, voice data, Wi-Fi solutions, underground utilities, service and installation of traditional heat pump split systems, gas furnaces, ductless mini splits, and rooftop package units. I don't even know what that is. Electrical renovations and fix-ups, HVACs, whatever it is. Elliott Services, 859-255-5788. My friend Jeremy Caudle coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
This is Brent Clark with my daughter, Carlisle.
We want to help you get ready for the holidays. So if you are just headed around the block or far away, stop in, gas up, and get some yummy treats for the car. Check out our holiday specials, including Old Trapper Jerky 4-ounce bags for $8.99 and assorted Snickers standard size candy bars, 2 for $3.
So no matter where your holiday travels take you, stop in any Clark's Pumpkin Shop and get stocked up on holiday candy, and thank you for being a customer.
Clark's Pumpkin Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrell Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quantrell family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank, time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
Hey, ESPN radio fans, we are taking our show on the road literally. Our college basketball game day live show will be in the belly of the beast for the Louisville game. We are broadcasting live from downtown Louisville in the Conservatory Bar at the Gold House attached to the Center. Your Kentucky Wildcats are going to take down the Louisville Cardinals. Join me, Steve Tressler, and a special guest live at the Gold House this Tuesday night at 7 p.m. and then walk next door to the Center and cheer on your Cats. Let's go Gold House and let's go Big Blue.
W223CV Lexington. ESPN Sports Radio 1300 and 92.5. WLXG Lexington and LM Communications Broadcasting Station. The only no-filter sports show in Kentucky. It's the Alan Cutler Show with award-winning TV sportscaster Alan Cutler.
I think just the guys we have and Coach Stoops, Coach Stoops has kind of instilled that into us and built that around the team. That's kind of what our motto and what our mindset is built on is we never get up, we never quit, and we're going to do the best we can no matter the circumstances or what's going on.
How does he do that?
He's just a player's coach. All the guys in here love him. All the guys in here want to fight for him, want to win for him. Everything like that. Just all around. We have a really good thing going in the locker room. You could see our heartbeat we kind of have tonight.
What's that mean, players coach?
Just everybody. He's like. Everybody loves him. Everybody loves Coach Stoops and what he does and what he stands for and how he addresses the team in every situation, loss, win, no matter what it is. He's always the same guy. Loss, win, whatever it is. He's always the same guy in the locker room. He's always the same guy talking to us on Mondays, no matter the outcome. And I think every guy respects that and every guy really wants to play for him.
How hard is it for you guys watching him get beat up so much?
That's that. Yeah, we hate it. We're kind of taking it on our shoulders and putting it on ourselves. We're a big family in here, and I think we take all the losses and everything together. Each person takes it differently, but I think we all suffer through that.
What a comment by Cutter Boley. Cutter is the leader of this team. He'd probably say, "Oh, shucks, it's the veterans." He is the leader of this team. He says that he hates that Stoops is taking so much crap. He says the guys love playing for Stoops. He says he's the same guy all the time. And Stoops was asked this during his press conference, and he said, that's really nice. I'm glad to hear it. But, I want to win for them. They want to win for all of us. I want to win for all of us. So, as I've said for weeks, and weeks, now, I didn't know this was going to happen, honestly, because that's just the truth. But what I have been saying is that these kids have not quit like they did last year in the Louisville game. I've said this for 4 or 5 weeks now. Now it's become popular. But I was way ahead on that, but this has exceeded my expectations. A man who never exceeds my expectations because I always know he's going to be good. Ladies and gentlemen, former Studley defensive lineman before there were face masks for the University of Kentucky, Jeremy Cutler. Oh, I can't be that nice, Jeremy. Come on. It was too nice.
Hey, listen, I'm always trying to set the bar low for you, Alan.
How are you, brother?
I'm doing well, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, always a pleasure to have you. So, look, I didn't see this blowout. If anybody says they do, I think they're a liar, and that's okay. But it did happen. It did happen. And if somebody wants to say, somebody chirped at me last night, well, Florida stinks. Well, they almost beat Georgia the week before, and they do stink record-wise. There's no question about it. And they have made a coaching change. There's no question about it. But you know what? They were pretty good against Georgia. And Auburn couldn't score against Kentucky. Vandy has a good defense, and Auburn scored a ton of points, like 38, whatever the hell it was. So how about giving Kentucky, how about we need to change? And I've changed because it's what you see makes you change. How about giving these kids some damn credit?
Yeah, listen, this is the SEC right here. This is exactly what SEC football is. I think Stoops' comments earlier where he was talking about how many teams have the same number of wins and losses as they do in the conference right now. But, man, this team has shown talent from the beginning. They weren't able to put it all together. They weren't able to get it on the field at the same time. But, boy, did they look good Saturday. And again, Florida's down. Florida is not the the Florida of past that ran through the SEC. They're down. They're going through some coaching struggles themselves, but listen, they're SEC guys. They're 4- and 5-star guys recruited from Florida and Southern Georgia and all those places that we want players from. So we stood right there with them toe to toe, and then just after a few scary minutes, we got things going and did what we needed to do, and it was impressive, man. It was impressive.
Best drive in I don't know how many years. It's got to go back to the Big Blue Wall. Was opening up the third quarter where they had the ball for over 7 minutes. In the beginning, they were passing all the time. I think 5 out of 6 plays, and then at the end, they just kept on running because the offensive line was beating the crap out of the Florida kids and gave it room to run. And that offensive line, those guys, when they get together 10 years from now, we'll talk about that drive. I mean, you could see it. You could feel it. They were just knocking the crap out of those guys.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a beautiful, beautiful. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful thing to watch, man. And a D-line guy like myself, it'll get you fired up when you see those big guys down in the trenches get after it, and especially bringing back that big blue wall we were so accustomed to for so many years. That was one of the key points they went after in this offseason with the transfer portal. Those guys had shown promise throughout the season. They'd already done better than last season, not allowing as many sacks, even with the young guy back there, quarterback. But that was one of the best things to watch. And then just some of the other holes and things that they would open up for these running backs. These running backs have so much potential. And you've seen spurts of it all throughout the season. But when they get big holes like that behind those big hogs up front, and that's not derogatory. They like being called hogs, I think, at least on the offensive side, not us D guys.
You D guys want to look good in a bathing suit.
No, we always. I think most defensive linemen have dreams where they look in the mirror and they see their abs, and then they wake up and they go eat breakfast.
And then say, "Screw it, I'll have an extra piece of bacon." Right?
That's right. Yeah, we don't have to worry about it as much.
By the way, Kentucky, just a little digression here. Kentucky's number 9 in basketball. Louisville is 12 for the matchup tomorrow night. I've seen 3 and 3.5 points that Louisville is favored. Back to football. So I've had this theory on Bush Hamden. When I said it weeks and weeks ago, a couple of people chomped on me, and I haven't said it a lot, but now I'm saying it because it's easier to say now. I really believe part of his lack of imagination and play calling was his lack of belief that his players could do it. Now that he sees Cutler and the wideouts have done a good job, and hat tip to Van Hiles, who does the show every week, where he complimented Coach Washington, the wide receiver coach, for really helping these young people grow and develop. And Van said it. Let me give him some love. He's calling some plays. Come on, Jeremy, you played the game. He's having Cutler trust him to throw the ball on the opposite side over the shoulder. It's, as it's been told by me, as difficult a pass as you can have, and he's hitting them. He isn't just completing passes. He's hitting very difficult passes. And if you want to say Bush had no imagination, he couldn't call that before. And so he was hamstrung. I am telling you, I know this. He was so frustrated the first year because he didn't have an offensive line. He was trying to protect the offensive line. He had to keep people in. He couldn't do what he wanted, and he was just trying to survive. Now he can use his imagination because he has people that can do things. And I think you're seeing the real offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I mean, everybody questioned him at first, myself included. And you just wondered why he was making some of the decisions he was making. Of course, we were never privy to that. And perhaps that's what it was. That had to be at least part of it. But the best thing is they're doing this with some young guys too. Some young guys that are coming in positions. I know there's been more on defense, but they've had some young guys come in on this offensive side of the ball. Wide receiver coming out there and making catches and making plays, and to trust those guys, for Cutler to trust those guys. Again, but I think that kind of goes back to the relationship that they have with each other, Cutler included with those other players.
Yeah, let's push a little defense now. They lost 3 really good defensive players, older players, veterans, leaders, and they brought in 3 guys, young guys, almost never play. And I got to be honest, with the Scott kid, I'm going, who the hell is he? And they played their fannies off. They had young guys who were waiting for their turn, come in. If those guys weren't ready to play, I'm not saying Kentucky would have lost. I'm saying Florida would have scored a lot more points. It's 3 guys that were basically no name in a pressure situation came in, and actually 4 guys came in and did a hell of a job.
Yeah, I mean, you kept seeing this injury report on Thursdays and Fridays when it would come out, and I would just shake my head. My son would come to me and be like, "Did you see how many people they've got out this week?" And then seeing that the majority of them were on that defensive side and key positions. You know, we were really pleased with the play of the defensive line this year, but we were worried about the DBs. And they've had some guys that were solid that went down, and they've had guys that come in and step up, man, and have just made some huge plays.
And, I give Stoops a little credit that he doesn't get credit for. DJ Waller, who's it's sad because he probably would have been their best or second best corner, was ready to play, so he thought, and Stoops said he didn't think he could really open it up. You really need him to play, and instead of putting the kid in jeopardy, he sat his Fanny. And a lot of coaches wouldn't do that. I know that. You know that. And because if he gets the kid next week and for the rest of the season, Kentucky's better off. It'll be rusty, but so what? They'll be so much better off. And it's a little thing that shows me he was doing the right thing for the right reason, not panicking as a coach who had heat on.
Well, and maybe that's exactly why somebody like Cutter Bowley comes out and says that the players play for Stoops. I think they all understand that he has their back and that he's there for them. He's going to do hopefully what's right by them, with input from other people. Now, that being said, I want to look for the accountability. I was hoping to see a little bit more coming out of the story with Calzada from last week, maybe a little stronger stance. I understand the politics of it from his end with looking at transfers and trying to keep people there. But the whole accountability thing, for the last couple of years with me has been an issue, and I feel like that he let one slip there.
Glad you brought that up because I want to play this soundbite that was next on my list with you. So we're going to do this, and I want your opinion. But this was Cutter talking about Zach. I think everybody within the sound of my voice knows the story. I don't know if it was $10,000, $20,000, and $100 bills, which is not easy to get. I've now had multiple bankers tell me that you can't walk into a bank and get that kind of money. I said, I don't know how he got it, but he got it. You can't walk in and say, well, I can't do it anyway, but that's not the point. You can't walk in and say, I want $20,000 in hundreds, or they just don't have it around. Most banks don't have it around. And so I don't know how the hell he got it, or maybe that was a payoff in cash under the table. I don't know that. Not suggesting it. I'm sure that happens some places. I'm not suggesting here, certainly not. But you have to be suspicious when somebody has that many hundreds. So he waved it and went back at the kid and all this kind of stuff. But let me throw this at you. The kid's name is Garrett. And I was told, Garrett, if I'm wrong, contact me. I have been told he's badgered other players, and I went crazy on a rant. I don't know if you heard it, that I'm sick and tired. This is not just Kentucky. It's nationally. Somebody loses a bet, and they're threatening people's lives. It happens all the time now. All families are being threatened because you lost $20 or $100, whatever the hell it is. Bet responsibly. Don't blame the athlete for making a mistake because you make a mistake. It's just disgusting. So apparently this young person has done it before. Again, if I'm wrong, Garrett, call me. But the point is this, and so there's no question Zach Calzada made a mistake, but it's still wrong with anybody chirping on him. This is, and I want you to respond to this after the bite, this is Cutter talking about Zach. Zach is the backup. Zach came here to start, yet Zach is being, and Cutter has said this many times, a wonderful teammate.
I mean, I love Zach, and I love everything he's done for me, how much he's poured into me, no matter what's going on. I mean, there's been a lot of there's a lot of situations for everybody to fold, and I feel like no one in this locker room has folded, especially him. He's continuing to pour into me 5 days or 7 days a week. No matter what we're doing, when I come on the sideline, he's talking to me. That guy's got a ton of experience, and I can't express to you how much love I have for him, for how much he's done for me, and how good of a friend he's been to me.
Cutter, last year you got your first taste.
Friend to me, and on the sidelines after one of the touchdowns, he and Zach kind of met and they did the money sign to each other and that kind of thing. That probably has a lot to do with why he wasn't either suspended or kicked off the team. I think if he'd been a turd as a teammate after losing his job, could I see him being suspended or kick off the team? I really can. But if the guy's, I think he's either turned 25 last week or this week, whatever the heck it is, doesn't matter. People, you got the temperature where I'm coming from. But to be that old, not to be the starter, and still be a great teammate, That's beautiful, Jeremy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I don't know if you caught some of the post-game show on the radio. I wanted to listen to it on our way out of the stadium. We usually listen to it on the way home, and listen to some of the offensive linemen talk about how the attitudes have been in the locker room this year. You know, they talked about offensive lineman Burton has been one of the seniors, the guys that have been kind of helping along those young guys. And they said one of the biggest things was, you know, you come in as a transfer and some people shun you and some people don't want to have anything to do with you. And in this situation, he was bringing in those transfer guys, welcoming them to Kentucky and the Big Blue Wall culture. And I think that says a lot. And that's partly, you know, the similar situation here where it really can change things in a locker room for the whole team by just the behavior of a couple of guys and how they become teammates.
What would you have done if you were Stoops with Calzada?
Yeah, you know, here's the problem. You don't always know it all. So I hope that he would have done what I would have expected, which was you bring him in, you sit him down, you say, all right, Zach, what's happened here? What's going on? And Zach may have opened his phone up and said, hey, look, this is this guy. He's badgered me. He's done this. I overreacted, but I did this. It was my bad, coach. And then they had a conversation about how to avoid it going forward. But, you know, Alan, back 20 years ago, man, you know it was you all, it was you and Mary Jo and all those people that could come and talk to us and ask us questions. But, you know, the only time we got any bad publicity out there that we had to pay attention to is if we actually picked up the newspaper and read it, or if we turned on the TV. And now it's everywhere. And these guys are big into their social media. They get it constantly from all sides. And so, you know, blocking it out is, I guess, a learned trait, and you have to do a better job of it. But I think probably brought them in there and talked to them and worked through it. And we'll never know the fine details of it, what happened between them.
Drew Barker, remember him? Put on Twitter, Cutter Boley is nasty! ! Love his game. I have been told that Bush Hampton is telling folks he loves working with Cutter, that he's really smart. He's got a great attitude. And this is a learning experience. This is important for you to respond. It's really important for people to understand. I happen to think Bush Hampton is smart. I really do. I did a bunch of work on him because all the time he spent on Boise. He's a really smart guy, and I thought he was pulling his hair out because he didn't know what the hell to call because these guys couldn't do anything. Now he's got a quarterback who's growing every day, who picks things up quickly, the mental part quickly, and now he's got I got a whole damn playbook now. I can do all kinds of things with this kid because he puts things together quickly. So I think Bush Hampton is having as much fun as Cutter, and maybe he's not as dumb as people were saying.
Well, I think, you know, they bring some guys in the offseason, and I've gotten to talk to a couple of them, specifically Mike Hartline. You know, you look at him and what he was able to do when he was here at Kentucky. You know, they bring him back, and he has to be a great resource for these quarterbacks to learn from, especially the young guys like Boley. And so, you know, then maybe with their help, you know, Hampton can go on to the other parts of the offense and really start to expand things when he's got somebody there he knows he can lean on to help bring these quarterbacks along. Give props to the wide receivers coach, man. These guys have turned around. They're getting open. You know, our biggest complaint, I think, the first few weeks, Alan, was that they couldn't find their way to get open for the quarterback to throw them the ball. There was lots to blame on the quarterback at that point too, but you know, the wide receivers have come a long way. The team in general has come a long way just within the last 5 weeks.
How hopeful are you for the rest of the year?
Oh man. So, you know, this is one of these things. This is the classic UK football situation, Alan. This is one of those things where you start off with high expectations, you come out, you know, you meander through the first couple of games, then you get into those tough SEC games and you go, oh crap, here we go. You know, what's this going to be like? And then you just, you know, let's be honest, you lose hope a little bit. You think there's big changes coming. It's interesting to see where that's going to go now. But now I'm cautiously optimistic again. I was pessimistic for a couple of weeks. I'm now cautiously optimistic. They're not going to do as good as I would hope because they can't at this point, but they're going to do better than maybe I thought 2 weeks ago.
I think a lot of people feel exactly like that.
Well, and we're just, you know, I think there's a large group of us, Alan, I think that's waiting to have this rug pulled out from underneath our feet. I kind of want to stand at the edge just in case, because I don't want to fall. but no, it's that thing. It's that good old UK football. Just waiting to get you excited for once, and then come back. You know, this week is a tough game to come back and play in. being that it's supposed to be a win, it's supposed to be a lower level school. These guys aren't a joke, and so it's a tough one to come back from a big win over Florida like that and play this team.
You know what? If these kids are going to keep on improving, it shouldn't be a tough game. They should punch them in the mouth and do their thing. And here's where I will respectfully disagree. I don't give a crap that it's Tennessee Tech. I don't give a crap that it's lower level football. I don't care that they're undefeated. Okay? UK should be big enough and strong enough to push their fannies around. This is supposed to be a physical team. Mark Stoops lives on physicality. These kids have not quit on Mark Stoops. I don't want to hear that from you, Jeremy Caudle. That's shame on you. You are a negative. Can't use that word. You are a negative, you know what, because of history. I'm saying if these kids really are taking it one-on-one every week, if these kids are really coming back to practice with enthusiasm, they should knock the crap out of them. And as long as they win by 1 point, that's all I would care about. But the point is, no, stop that. That's negative. If you're going to go to a bowl game, you got to beat them, period. End of story. Stop it. What is wrong with you? You're such a smart guy. You've turned into a negative. Shame. I've never been so ashamed of you all the years I've known you.
Hey, listen. What's the saying? If you don't remember history, then it's bound to repeat itself, man. I'm just sitting back holding my breath.
I hate to tell you this. This is my favorite quote. It's one of 3 quotes in my book, Cut to the Chase. I have 3 quotes, and the first one is, history doesn't repeat itself, but men make the same mistakes. The man who said it was Bernard Baruch. He was advisor to presidents from Woodrow Wilson to JFK. There's a college named after him because he put all the money up. And he couldn't be president of the United States because he was Jewish. Just like there couldn't be a Catholic till JFK came around. We're not turning into a history lesson. So I agree with you with that part. See, that's really bad. That was a really good retort by Jeremy Caudle, former Studley defensive lineman. But you're not off the hook so quickly, Jeremy Caudle.
Yeah.
If you're positive, then you should anticipate. I don't usually pin you to the wall, but I'm enjoying this. You should be more positive, saying, okay, history has shown, and you're right. You are absolutely right. But these guys are different. You're not believing it. I think these guys are different. And did I think I'd ever say this? Hell no.
Yeah, that's tough, man. That's a tough one to swallow. I walked out of the game this past Saturday a different person than I walked into the game. That's what I'll say. I was going in this last Saturday just hoping we'd keep it close. Didn't know that I would give ourselves a full shot. Vegas didn't think we have a shot. I don't know, Alan, but I walked out a different person. And I'm glad that I did. Walking out, I was shocked at what happened. But, man, I had a smile on my face, and every time we saw these Gator fans walking through the stadium parking lot and they weren't doing the Gator chomp and they had their heads down looking at the ground or looking at a beverage, boy, that felt good.
I got to go, but is there something you hadn't thought about with UK football that you haven't said?
No, again, this week means a lot. It's on the schedule at the beginning of the season. It didn't look like it was going to be a huge game. This week looks like it's going to be more so than it was before. I think you're right. They should go out and take care of business. To prove that they're on track to do that the rest of the season, they do have to go out and take care of business. If they don't win this one by 28, 30 something points and be able to get their backups in for some reps, then we've done something wrong. And they need backups to get reps to have them feel good about themselves and have some of these kids who play too many reps just to get a little bit rest and that kind of thing. And that's really, really important. Jeremy Caudle, you can admit I was right and you're too negative. I was too negative at one point. Wow, this is the biggest. I've known you for how many years? And it really hurt to concede, didn't it? Yeah, listen, every now and then I'm going to give – it's your show, Alan, right? If I'm going to come back. Oh, no, stop it. It might be my show, but you're not shy about tossing it right back at me. No, I know better. But I'm going to put that out there just so everybody hears it and it's a soundbite. But I know better. I'm going to get to come back no matter if I agree or disagree. That's absolutely. Matter of fact, you know how you wouldn't come back? Or I agree with everything. If you agreed with me and you didn't believe it. Well, I think if I agree with Jimmy too many times, maybe I'll get booted too. Dude, look at Jimmy smile. Hey, bless you, brother. Have a good week. I really appreciate you carving out time. You're great. I appreciate what you do and your thought process, man. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks a lot, Alan. Have a good one, man.
You too, Jeremy Cuttle. That was
Hey, by the way, basketball team, come on now. L's down, baby.
If you're on YouTube, could you see his L's down? Yeah, thanks, Jeremy.
All right.
Say hi to your son for me. By the way, we don't push YouTube at all, but what's the YouTube address?
ESPN Sports Radio 1300.
There you go. Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914. 859-533-0914. Now also providing a licensed massage therapist. Acupuncture, Ramon Carriega, special dude. He's helped me tremendously. I couldn't recommend him higher. You deserve to take care of yourself. You deserve health. You do. You do. Take care of yourself. Trust me, he is that good. And somebody else who's that good is Terry Page. Terry, licensed massage therapist, 859-373-0578, 859-373-0578. She's a healer. She's in Lexington on Thursday and Friday, Butler, Kentucky on Monday and Tuesday. Text her to get an appointment. Text her. It is worth it. She's been great for me. 859-373-0578. Talking hoops with my old friend Doug Barnes, former UK assistant, coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment. Hit the
263-2771 to see if auto owners insurance makes sense for you.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. The Quantrell Auto Group has a great deal for this month. Subaru. The Outback is special, so check this out. 0%. That's right, 0% interest for 36 months. And if you want to spread it out to 72 months, 1.9%. What a deal. 0% interest for 36 months. Don't forget, the Quattro family of dealerships is the right place to get your next Subaru, and they promise you the best in sales, service, and no gimmicks.
I'm Kathy Binkaman. Over the holiday, there was an attempted fraud attack. My personal banker, Mary Rose, and I networked together, and the first thing that I thought of was I have to text her. And it was just within the next few minutes, there was an entire team that came together collectively. And that's just not the type of service that you typically get from your bank.
That's Kathy's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
This is Brent Clark with my daughter, Carlisle.
We want to help you get ready for the holidays. So if you are just headed around the block or far away, stop in, gas up, and get some yummy treats for the car. Check out our holiday specials, including Mentos or Trident Vibes bottle pack gum for $3.99 or Uncle Ray's potato chips 3-ounce bags for $1.99.
So no matter where your holiday travels take you, stop in any Clark's Pump and Shop and get stocked up on holiday candy, and thank you for being a customer.
Clark's Pump and Shop. Return, refresh, refuel.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
Welcome back, Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. My old friend, former assistant basketball coach for Eddie Sutton back in the day, now owns Popalock for 30-plus years in Lexington, franchise in Louisville, very successful business, dear friend, basketball savant who at times under Cal, when Cal wasn't doing something, he would suggest it, and a couple weeks later, I don't know how many times he would start changing the defense. It's like he was listening to the show, or the peeps that were listening to the show for Cal were taking notes or something. But Cal ended up making changes the way he would suggest. It was really cool how that worked out. Doug Barnes, how are you?
Well, I'm doing well. You know, it's snowing outside.
Yeah, I got my blinds closed on usually on purpose.
Okay.
I don't want to scare the neighbors, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's basketball season when it starts to snow.
It's cold all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So, Doug, you have number 9 Kentucky against number 12 Louisville, and there's no question the kid who's going to be drafted the highest from these two teams. It's going to be Mikael Brown, who's a star. He's 6'5". He's going to be a lotto pick. Everybody is guessing, from Florida. Averages 52% from the field, 15 points, 4 rebounds, 52% from the field, 7 assists. He's having a heck of a year. Nobody's surprised. And Louisville has recruited shooters more than Kentucky. They have really improved. Kentucky has really improved. Both teams with really good coaches. I think it's going to get really, really, really physical. I would be willing to bet there'll be at least a couple technical fouls. I think the rivalry is back. I think it's going to be nasty and fun.
Yeah, you know, Alan, in ways, it's just, you know, and this is coming from kind of everybody. It's just unfortunate that this game is scheduled when it is and stuff. You know, you would really like for this to be at least a couple of weeks from now, where both teams really have a chance to go against some competition and kind of figure out things and stuff. You know, of course, you know, this game used to be played like right after Christmas, and by the way, in my coaching record against U of L, Alan, I don't want to brag, but I was 2-0 stuff. So I'm undefeated playing Louisville. I remind Coach Bill Olson that all the time. He didn't appreciate it, but anyway.
By the way, let me say, Bill Olson, let me interrupt so people know who Bill Olson is. He's been retired a long time. Former Louisville coach who was a long time, very successful athletics director at the University of Louisville, who is good buddies with Doug. Go ahead, Doug.
Yeah. But anyway, with the bottom line is both teams are, I think, in my opinion, what I've seen of Louisville, both teams are improved over last year, and both teams had good years last year. You just like for them to be more, have a little bit more experience under the belt to play such a big game. And looking at the exhibition games, Alan, it's really tough to tell. You know, a couple of things comes out, like you were mentioning Michael Brown. Well, in one game he was 2 for 15. I imagine that was Kansas and stuff. But you look at their game against Kansas, then you look at their two games that they've played. It's just hard to tell because they were just so you know, Jackson State and I can't remember the other one here and stuff. But anyway, it's hard to tell because they just were so overmatched to see what they're going to do against UK. But boy, you just wish that they had a few more games under the belt to have this big game.
You know, I partially buy it, and I'd love for it to be, you know, Christmas time, that kind of thing. I'm 100% for it, but by the same token, too, everybody's got to deal with the same stuff. And I think this was a scheduling problem that hopefully won't happen in the future. But I'm okay with it. I mean, people are going, I think, overreacting to it. It's a schedule. It is what it is. You know, hopefully,
I agree.
but I'm good with it because you know what? Both teams are going to get better. But the good thing about this is both teams will grow up quicker because they play this game early.
Yeah, I agree. And you know, it's just like in for the Wildcats, they saw where, you know, against Georgetown, they had some deficiencies that you know hadn't showed up and stuff. So like I say, it is what it is, and it's I think it's great for basketball in the state of Kentucky, and I think it's great that the U of L's program has come up such that it makes it a big game and stuff. But it's just hard in scouting them to, you know, I watched part of the Kansas game, and then you could kind of get a good feel. But, you know, the other two games were they were basically like playing the YMCA to a certain degree. They were just right up and down the court and shooting layups. So anyway, I'm not sure that the two games they've had will help them much going against the Wildcats.
What's the strength you see of Kentucky? And it's going to change probably. And what's the thing you're saying? Hey, they better get better at blank.
Well, Alan, like we were talking about, I think the good news for UK is that their defense is much better than it was this year or any time last year, and I can tell by the games that they're emphasizing it, and the players are putting more into it and stuff. And then but with that said, they got so many new players. It's just getting comfortable and running the offense. But I think the strength of UK is looking at their balance. In the first two games, you've got 6 players that are in double figures, and that's really what you like to see in any team, and that's with Jalen Lowe just playing that one ball game and not playing very much of it stuff. So I think the strength of the Cats is that they have such good offensive balance, and then the strength defensively this year is they're so much longer. They're taller and got such wingspans that affects the team going against them more. So I think those are kind of the strengths of this team.
He's pushing defense a lot more, and the kids are buying in a lot more. And I thought, as you know all too well, a loss can be a blessing. I thought they got knocked around like crazy against Georgetown. They learned from it, and they have been much more physical since that time. And I think playing Georgetown early was a tremendous help, because had they played Transy, and no disrespect to Transy, they would never gotten the crap beat out of them. It would have happened at some point in time during the season. So they learned in the preseason, just like they learned a lot when Ohio State last year knocked the crap out of them.
Yeah. I love the idea that, for example, Louisville playing Kansas, that really that helped them, even though they got beat. And I think the Georgetown game showed some of the weakness of the Cats, and part of their problem is the physicality. However, I think that they are more physical than they were last year, just because they're bigger, and they got some people who got some experience and stuff too. But the physicality of the game, I think, is those games are going to be tough for the Cats, as they've got to be able to adjust to that going into all the season.
I think that Kentucky is in a group of a bunch of teams. I watched Alabama and Pitino on Saturday, and Alabama won. They were the better team, and I thought they wore Pitino down. I've seen BYU, I've seen Arizona. I haven't seen all the teams, but I've seen a number of teams. I think there's going to be so many good teams because of all the kids, the layer effect that I've been talking about, others have been talking about, that's going on and on and on. Guys who don't go to the NBA, who stay in college sometimes because they're making more money, sometimes because the NBA doesn't want them, and they still make money, whatever. College basketball, as far as I'm concerned right now, is at an all-time high based upon experience, knowledge, and talent. And I think it's going to make the NCAA down the road just unbelievably fun to watch. And Kentucky's in that group.
Yeah, I agree. This one player for Louisville, I think this is his 7th year. And even if he's just an average player, you get just having those years behind you, it makes a lot of difference. But I agree. When you start looking at all these teams, I was watching North Carolina and I forget who they were playing now. It was North Carolina and Kansas. And both teams were much better than they were last year and stuff. So it just makes for good basketball.
Do you see 3-point defense for Kentucky being a big key tomorrow night?
Well, Alan, now that you mention it, I just happen to have Pop-A-Lock keys for the game. How's that?
Okay, well, do this. Give a plug for Pop-A-Lock. I just realized what time it was. I got to go. But tell everybody about Pop-A-Lock. Okay. I didn't realize it was 147. My bad.
No problem. But you're right. The defense in the three is going to be a big key and stuff. Because they've got some guys that can shoot the ball, and you can't let them have free shots or you're in trouble and stuff. Okay.
Yeah, give a Pop-A-Lock plug, Doug. For you've got
French. Well, if you need a locksmith, if you need a locksmith or any need, give us a call at 253 open here in Lexington, and in Louisville it's 895 open in Southern Indiana.
Hope we talk next week, Doug. As always, thank you so much. Hey, we got to get together.
Okay. All right. All right. Have a good one.
You
All
too.
right,
Thank
thanks.
you, Doug.
Bye.
Doug Barnes, I like how he pointed out, Jimmy, that he's 2-0 as a coach at Kentucky when he was assistant against Louisville. A couple quick notes before we go. Sam Green, who really came on the last couple of weeks. Really came on. Man, he can move and big, he can hit. And Jordan Lovett has been a wonderful defensive player for a long time, out for the rest of the year. Looks like they need surgery. And they had all these young kids who hadn't played step up against Florida, which is, I thought, one of the big stories against Florida. Guys who didn't know who the hell they were. And it's like, this kid is really good. This kid is really good. It's just interesting how it worked. So Kentucky, that's a tough loss. Those two kids with surgery. Wish them the best. Wish them the best in recovery. And if you need some recovery in your home for electrical needs, the only place to call, as far as I'm concerned, is Elliott Services, 859-255-5788. 859-255-5788. They've taken care of me. Elliott Services, 100% employee owned, with licensed background check, not commission-based technicians. The success of the job is the success of the company. Residential heating and air conditioning, whatever, installation, maintenance, repairs, replacements. Think of everything I'm mentioning. Home generator services, the same. Home electrical handyman services, the same. EV charger installation and maintenance. Boy, do we need that. The same. Heating and air preventative maintenance programs through multi-point inspections, voice data, Wi-Fi solutions, underground utilities, service and installation, traditional heat pump systems, HVAC systems, electrical renovations, fix-ups, basically anything you need. Elliott Services, they are the people to call. Thanks to my friend Chuck Ely, 859-255-5788. I am so pumped up for the Louisville game. It is crazy. And it's interesting how you have Dick Hoopsweiss, a national guy, who spent a year here in the 90s writing a Patino book, and how he's followed Kentucky forever, follows everybody forever, but especially Kentucky, how excited he's been for the last 3 days. I'm not saying it's going to be one for the ages. I'm saying the anticipation that the rivalry is back as strong as it should be. I think it is here. I think it's going to be physical. I think it's going to be fun. I just thought it was interesting. Jimmy, what do they say? It was 23% chance of Kentucky winning, so said ESPN?
Yeah.
That's crazy. Am I nuts, or you think that's crazy?
No, there's no way. I mean, the AP poll just came out. Kentucky's still 9 and Louisville's 12. I don't understand how that would be a less than 30% chance.
Yeah, I mean, I see Louisville being 3 or 3.5 point favorites because they're at home. I get that. That doesn't surprise me. If it was 5 or 6, I'd go, But 23% chance of winning? I don't know if Pope is into bulletin boards. I think not. But I would think somehow the players on the team would know that. And you know what? It'll rackle them a little bit, don't you think? And there's been chirping going on from Louisville the way you like it. It'll be tough. It'll be hard. It'll be physical. And we'll talk more about it tomorrow. Want to thank Dick Hoopsweiss, my dear friend, Jeremy Caudle, my dear friend, and Doug Barnes, my dear friend. How about that? Great guests who are dear friends. It's a beautiful thing. Have yourself a blessed day. Thank you for listening. Podcast will be up in a half hour. It will include the Mark Stoops press conference, where he was really quick, Jimmy. I know we're late. Would you say he was giddy when you consider how Mark is? Wouldn't you say that?
Yes, he was in a very good mood, very laughy, lighthearted, was joking.
Yeah, it was nice to see. He's earned that right. Have yourself a great day. Thank you for tuning in. Brad Taylor coming up next. Matthew and Jimmy at 10.